Good evening, everyone. This is Moshe Frank. Tonight we have a very special guest, my mother, Mrs. Frank, a author, 50 Pathways to Parenting Wisdom, published by Israel Bookshop, you can find it online, as well as published in the New York Times, and a featured international columnist with the Hamodia newspaper. Tonight, the topic we're going to cover is how to raise children in a COVID-19 environment. You know, it's not natural not natural until now to have children home, parents home, all in a very intense environment. And what are the tips you can share, as well as what are problems you see coming up? Are you busier than usual, less busy? Are there more problems or less problems? Please share your wisdom with us.
Thank you so much, Moshe. In terms of what goes on is when the person is in a stressful situation, whatever their weaknesses are happens to become more exacerbated and exaggerated when they're under stress. So a person's children who might be a little bit ADHD are much more ADHD. A child that may have a tendency towards depression may show more tendency towards depression, and parents as well. So things get kind of looked at under magnifying glass, and that's kind of a general challenge that we look at. That we look at as parents every minute. What are we doing? We look at much more with the magnifying glass, and that's more a difficulty for any parents to endure. So, in terms of the main thing that people have difficulty is
more or less busy now than before.
I'm busy. I'm more busy because the problems are much more entangled. People have concerns about sleep again. People have concerns about school. People have concerns about marital discord, about divorce, joint custody. It's much more intense than it was before. That's without a doubt. Yeah, harder.
So
excuse me?
So you're busier.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm more emotionally, involved with people's families in a more intense way than I normally would have been. Because when you see people on Zoom or you see people on the telephone, you get more involved with family as I might have before. But I see the hardest thing for most people is to accept the fact that we're not in control. That's the hardest thing. We make believe that we are in a situation to see that we know it has answers to anything. It's very disconcerting to adults and to children as well. So our goals are different in this situation than before. But we have to modify our goals and expectations to ourselves, because Hashem expects different things from us than we would had we been in a normal situation. It's not lowering expectations, but just modifying that. And maybe our goals now is to be different kind of outcomes. Maybe to have happy children is amazing. To decrease the amount of anxiety in your house. Maybe that's a definition of accomplishment, which is different than we might have had before. Teaching kids how to cope when they don't know what the future is going to be like. Looking at us as role models. One example that we can share with our children a circumstance that we had no control of, that we did not know how the future would come to be. How do we handle it? Situations that we feel comfortable sharing with people, with your kids, but mean, let's say, adults in the family, that means something, how you're able to cope with the given circumstance. That's a big gift you can give your child, is ways how you cope with the unknown.
Excuse me? Right, the unknown, besides the close environment and the intense and the quantity of time people are spending together, is a fear of the unknown during COVID-19 is a big activator of fear and more anxiety.
Of course, everybody
for that.
Yeah. So what's the way of living with the fear is how do we live with fear in general? Because we can give over that idea to our family members. There are different ways a person can deal with it. To live the present as much as possible is a way to try to take away fears, because you're not in the past, you're not in the future. And the vision we have in mind is, what can I do at this moment to use my potential the most to serve Hashem? And one technique that uses is a lot in cognitive behavior therapy is the idea of putting your worries, let's say in a worry time. Let's say today at 8 o'clock, I'm going to be sitting and thinking about what my concerns are for 10 minutes. Till then, I'm going to push my thoughts up till then as much as possible. So I won't obsess on my worries and my fears. I'll give it that 10-minute space. It's a very helpful concept for many children as well as adults, because that's where I'm going to put it. Like you're pushing something off. You'll see that contrast with Yiddishkeit. You push off the Yetzer Hara. I'm not dealing with you right now. It's easier to handle on later on. Same idea with fears. Another way is to look at the fears as a wave that goes up, and eventually the waves go down. Goes down. You see the idea with Shlomo Melech, that on his ring that he wore, he said, it's written, Kamza Yavor, this too will pass. And that's the idea, that maybe when you are worried about something, you can say to yourself, and in 2 months from now, this issue that's so overwhelming to me now will not have the same impact, whatever the issue may be. And that's the idea of a wave going up and down. It's also an issue, a technique we use in terms of anxiety and fears.
How is people's financial situations, how does that affect their relationship with their spouses and in general their family? Is that a major factor that you see affecting people's peaceful homes?
In general, when people go through financial crisis, it definitely affects the family, because a person doesn't, especially a person who's a breadwinner, whether it be a man or a woman, whoever's expected to make a living, and money's not coming in, is a big stressor. It's a financial stressor, without a doubt. Because a person, has to come on to people they didn't before, and they're in a situation where they don't know what to say to their children. Well, can I have this, or why can't I have this, and what's going on here? But in general, a good parent, with any crisis he comes, is able to reassure a child that, Baruch Hashem, we've gotten this far, we're going to go right to when to go. Whatever it will be, we've gotten this far, Hashem gives us the ability to go, we'll continue to go. But I said, we have to know how we deal with fears, how we deal with anxieties, and we are the best role model to our children. And what's helped us when we've been through crises, if we can explain that to our children, we can hear their fears, and we're not afraid to have them speak their feelings, because we know that the way we can try to reassure them.
In general, if you could give a percent number, how much does people's financial stability affect their emotional health? And as a therapist, if someone isn't financially stable, how could you help them if you're not depositing money in their account?
Unfortunately, there are many people who are not financially stable, and that's how they live their lives. I mean, whatever, people in the Kli Kodesh, people want to live in that lifestyle, where they're under the gun. People are used to living that lifestyle. It's not what the crisis is, but how you respond to it is really the answer. How do people respond to a father that has anger management problem? Whatever the stress is, how you respond to the stress that makes you cope or not to cope. I'm not making little of financial stress. But I'm saying in general, it's more how a family works around the problem and how they do a positive spin, how a positive visualization of the present reality is how they can cope and not cope. So it goes across the board.
Are you implying that people in Clay Traders, let's say a teacher, in a certain way have a similar lifestyle of a businessman, because or not, because they're not sure what the money is, but they're in that mode where they're used to juggling their financial issues, and therefore they're more okay with it?
I wouldn't say more okay. All life is expectations, what you expect. That's all. If you expect this much of anything, you don't get it, you'll be disappointed. That's why you're supposed to marry someone that's used to living your standard of life when you get married. Because people have certain standards, whatever the standard happens to be. It's not a right or wrong or better or worse. There are people that, that are very frustrated with their own financial situation. They have a lot of money. The person has 100, wants 200. It's rather your attitude is what you have, rather than what the actual circumstance usually. That's really, I think, what I've seen over and over again. I'm a family therapist. I'm working now over 40 years, and I think it has life expectations. If you have different expectations, you can live with different things that other people who don't have those.
How do you deal with a patient client? I know growing up, you always call them clients. I know most therapists call them patients.
I don't want to think that people are sick. That's right.
But a typical situation right now, unemployment is very high. You're dealing with unemployed people. What's the key to keep someone motivated and hopeful and keeping them psychologically sound if and when they get fired?
Well, it was helpful in terms of having a spouse that's supportive. It makes a big difference. And a spouse that can still ask the person's opinion on something. What do you think about this? How should we handle this? To still give the person a sense of self-esteem, and to be specific in verbal words, showing their greatness. I think in general, in the book I wrote, I spoke a lot about that, and the Rebbe speaks a lot about that as well. That if you specifically, like in Parshas Emor, if you specifically speak about the good in a person, it brings out their capabilities to do great things. So if you're unemployed and someone's reminding you, well, you did this so well in your job, you did that so well in the job, and the same quality you have of whatever, the work you did, you show right now in the house, I'm so proud of you, and that can help a person, to give that extra oomph if that's what they're going through.
So that could come from a spouse or a friend.
Of course, yeah.
What happens if what things could they do themselves to keep them positive and not them fall into a situation of despair? Because they're so used to, they had a job for 20 years, let's say, in a company, and due to COVID-19, they fired them. So let's say someone doesn't have that supportive spouse or friend. What do you suggest they do, or mechanisms to help them get through this?
In general speaking, I work a lot with cognitive medication. What that is that you do continual positive affirmations of things that you need to hear for yourself over and over again. Studies have shown that in a person's unconscious mind, the past 10, 15 years, you see the whole idea of neuroplasticity, which means that your neurons in your mind can actually change the way you think about yourself. What?
The idea of traffic that Zainab think it will be good?
Yeah, but the point of the way that it's done, like if you see less, especially with us people like Zelig Pliskin and many books that he wrote, if you say things over and over again, I am now becoming more and more this. You do it over and over again, your actual unconscious mind has changed. It's why the concept of neuroplasticity has been proven to be the case even with scientific research. And that helps over and over again. So whatever things you need to hear yourself, that's what you have to write down and to help self-program until you are.
Well, great. No, but I see very often how attitude has such a huge role in the way people handle stress, fear, and change. I mean, especially during Corona, people have been, the rug has been pulled under them, and they're in a whole different situation. So it's a very unique. I personally, I'm involved in different businesses and the like, and I think Corona created an opportunity to bond with my family more. So, I'm seeing, besides, we're talking very negative since you're a therapist, but I definitely see a lot of positives that have come out of Corona. You as a therapist, I mean, I guess you're the fireman, you only called when there's a fire. Have you seen positive outcomes because of COVID-19?
Well, the reason why you see positive outcomes is you by nature is already positive since you're born. So that doesn't surprise me at all. What I'm saying in terms of the positives that people say that families, you said, well, families that come closer together, fathers are home longer periods of time, so they get to be with their children. Children have more of their mother's attention than before. And because mothers are not going out and going shopping and meeting with friends as much, they, by nature, getting closer to the children. They pick up on things they didn't realize before. When I do family therapy, I see with children, certain children are able to work together more because they're home together all day. And that some kids come back late at night saying they don't see their brothers at all. They have a chance to work with people together. And I see that without a doubt. That's definitely an improvement. And people are a little bit, what?
The fact that people are forced to face their issues in a weird way, perhaps that's an overall positive thing too.
And people enter being more introspective in various times than they would have before. I definitely see that as a plus.
Very interesting. Now, what are kids missing, and what are adults missing because of COVID-19? What is the school setting and camp setting, or for adults, their work setting? What does it give them that they're now not getting? Well, what dosage of whatever are they missing now? And is there any way to fill it in?
In terms of children with Zoom, you see that some children only are on the telephone, depending where you're coming from. But what's really missing is, let's say a Rebbe is trying to do chumash with a boy, and the kid just goes off in Zoom to go to eat something or something. And the kid could be gone for 20 minutes. That doesn't happen in school. So you definitely miss periods of time. You miss socialization. Even though we have breakout rooms and times to speak to classmates, it's not the same at all. The kids that are being teased and bullies, they love Zoom because they hardly get bullied at all. It's like their dream. They get teased. The Rebbe will just mute them. Like that's the end of the child. You can't talk anymore. So for children, I think that really thrived on the Zoom are those that had social issues. Definitely, they're happier. But for the normal child, in case the Rebbe is boring, they're stuck with the Rebbe so over and over again. It's difficult. And that that zest for to be creative is very hard to do on Zoom. So I'm ready to do it, but it takes a lot of work. That's for sure. So I'm saying that, yeah. What?
As a therapist, is it easier or harder to communicate with your clients?
It's interesting. In a way, it's harder because you're not a person. But I also do therapy sometimes from different countries on my phone anyway, so I'm used to it. So one way it's hard, but one way for certain kids, it's easier because they can just say, if I'm meeting with them and their sister and their brother, excuse me, bye, I gotta go. They can just leave. That doesn't really happen, like if they come to my office, they're not gonna get up and leave. And if I see somebody in a school setting, they're not gonna get up and leave. So that's good for them. It's for them, it's easier. So they'll feel comfortable. They can just walk out and come back 10 minutes later. So that's it's a escape, which doesn't always help in therapy. But on the other hand, certain children you have good rapport with, or adults, it doesn't make a major difference.
So you're saying, let's say for the future in terms of therapy, your first appointment should always be in person to really get to know them, and the future sessions you think could be followed up through a Zoom, Skype session.
Interesting you say that, because some of my colleagues feel that certain people work better in this situation. Let's say a person had severe anxiety or OCD, and they find that the whole world's obsessed with washing their hands. It took away some of their anxiety. It's interesting how all this has different effects on different people. You'd be surprised. So I said for some people who don't like the intensity of one-on-one, I bet the Zoom will continue for a certain percentage. I don't know what percentage that is, but I bet just guessing that for certain people would prefer that. I don't know. We'll find out. Time goes by. We'll have that plays itself out.
What about the way the insurance or government reimburses? Were they always okay with Zoom, or that was never something they were comfortable with, and now they are forced to?
No, the Zoom really went up tremendously, like 200% use. I don't know what, but no one felt comfortable. Now people have no choice. The insurance people still need mental health coverage, so they don't really have much of a choice.
No, in the past, did insurance and New York City state agencies allow Zoom before Corona or not?
It did not generally do it. I'm sure there are exceptions to the rule. Say a person had some kind of mental, physical illness, and they had to be seen that in a different way. It wasn't Zoom. It was usually like on Skype, not Zoom.
So what interested you to become a therapist? I think you do a great job as a lawyer. So, or do you mix your lawyer skills together with your therapy?
I did. I tell children I work with that I'm the lawyer. So Moshe's right. I'm here to help you with the situations you're in, and that's what I feel like. So you're right. So when I was around 15, I started to work as a volunteer with special needs children many, many years ago. And I decided I really wanted to be a social worker. And I was in seminary in Beis Rivka many moons ago. And I decided to write the Rebbe a letter saying that I really wanted to be a social worker. And it was a little bit strange at that time in life. I was 19, and it was a long time ago. And I said I wanted to go to the social work program. And the Rebbe answered, "B'vadai kol zeh," definitely all of this. Shira, Shabbos, Yontif, please eat the Torah. Very interesting. You should make definite time to learn. The Rebbe wrote. So, in fact, my husband asked me, "Yaman Klein, what are you talking about? I have Kriyas Itim." He said, "No, the Rebbe could write Balach, your husband." He said, "You wanted your wife to have Kriyas Itim the Torah." And it's a time when many girls and women were going to Beis Rivka to learn. They brought their babysitters in Beis Rivka in order to learn. That's such an Indian women to learn at that point in time. So the Rebbe's bracha definitely helped me in my hard days of my life doing this kind of work. And right now, with Hashem, I'm in the midst of writing another book. As Moshe mentioned, I wrote a book. It's called 52 Pathways to Parenting Wisdom. And if you look at shirafrank.com, you can see different articles I've written in Hamodia past 6 years. And the book that I'm writing is together with Rabbi Dr. David Fox from Los Angeles about connecting Yiddishkeit with psychological theory and research and sources in Gemara and Nigla and Nister. So, that's my next goal in terms of what I'm doing. So that's what interests me, and that's what keeps me going all these years since I was in graduate school in 1980, believe it or not. That's how long it's been.
So what's your final remarks about Corona? And actually, if you could throw in here, obviously the interest of social work has probably grown many times since you were graduated. Mm-hmm. What would you, I don't know how to mix the questions too, but what would you tell a future social worker about the field and what they should know or shouldn't know? And if you could just end off with your final Corona remarks.
I think that a person should realize that there's a limit you can do to make change in anyone's life. If you know that from the beginning, you won't be so frustrated or burnt out. I think that's a number one thing to keep in mind, because I think if your expectations are that you can change everything, you'll just be very disappointed. I think it's a balance to believe in your principles in this work and deal with being politically correct in a strange world we live in. And that's a balance also. And it's good to speak to people who are more experienced in years and years of what to say to who and what, rather than just guessing your own gut, because the world we live in has very strange values, and you have to deal with that in terms of Yiddishkeit. So I think that's a challenge for anyone in the year 2020. That's why a person should go to Das Torah with the situations that are problematic. And as I said, it looks more simple than it is, but it's not. People think, oh, just do this and this, and people get better. And I think it's more aware to be realistic of what a person can do and appreciate when Hashem gives you talents. You can use them and help people. In terms of COVID itself, and I think, like if we can handle the fact to live in the present as much as possible, then that would take away some of the fear of the future and the agonizing what will be and how it will be. That whole reality of living in the present as much as possible is like hope. What was, I think, as Mendel Fusva said, that he was able to walk. The person can walk on a tightrope because they just look ahead to the goal, look toward the end. They look toward the end is just to have happy children and use your potential. In this given moment we have, if that's your goal, you can actually, Mr. Shira, can walk the tightrope. Thank you so much, Moshe.
Thank you very much. Thanks for this opportunity. I was a little scared to do this, just because I wasn't sure how it would work out. To bring my own mother, but it worked out pretty well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Moshe.
Thank you for bringing me into the journalism world. From the early, when there were very few Jewish publications, you used to write for Country Yossi, and at the time there was no Hamadia, there was no Mishpacha, there was nothing, just Country Yossi, Jewish Press. And,
Jewish Observer I wrote 3 times also. Remember Jewish Observer? Yeah?
There were a few antiquated publications, but at the time were the only thing around. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.